1 in 11 Canadians over the age of 65 has Alzheimer's disease or related dementia. Additionally, over 70,000 sufferers are under the age of 65. Once a month or so, we invite medical researcher, author Lorna Vanderhaeghe to Studio 4 to boost our immune systems and our health knowledge. It is my pleasure to welcome Lorna Vanderhaeghe back to the broadcast to tell us more.
Well, it's always my pleasure to be here.
And you always remember to come here.
I do. Well,
so your memory's good.
I love to come on your show, so it's worth getting up in the morning and getting organized.
Those are astounding stats.
Well, it's very frightening, and considering that we have a massive aging population, by the time that people in Canada are 80, 50% of us will have some type of dementia or Alzheimer's disease.
Great. So be kind of Crazyville.
Right, but we can prevent it.
I shouldn't say Crazyville, but you know,
it's
sad. Difficult.
You know, the thing is you forget everything. You forget how to do basic body functions. You forget everything, and
driving,
it's horrible for the
putting
people.
on your clothes.
Yeah, and the people who
it's
have
not
to
always
look
that
after
bad,
you.
but I know I've had my father's had dementia,
and it's sad to watch someone you love.
It's a trip, as you know.
You know, decline. That's the sad thing. Watching their memory decline. It's very sad, but we can prevent it. That's the key, and we have to understand what's causing it. And then we have to do what we need to do to prevent it, especially, although, you know, most Alzheimer's is not genetically related. If you've got a parent with Alzheimer's or with memory decline, you want to make sure that you don't, you know, live the same lifestyle that they did.
So it's true, most Alzheimer's is not genetically related.
That's right, about 5 to 7% of it is genetically related. The rest of it, we now know, is caused by inflammation, particularly inflammation in the brain. So when we think about inflammation, if you slip and fall on the ice and sprain your ankle will get red hot, painful, and swollen. That's telling you that there's inflammation going on. But what we don't see is inflammation going on in the brain that causes damage and destruction of the cells that produce memories.
Right. What inflames the brain? How do we inflame our brains? I'm sure there's many answers.
Well, there's a few key things. One is sugar. So sugar is probably the worst thing for creating inflammation in the body. So the more sugar we consume.
And in the brain too. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, because of course the brain loves glucose. And so as a result, so high sugar consumption is a big one. Stress is the next biggest one.
Can you tell if you're having high sugar consumption by your blood test? I took a blood test. Mine was a bit high, but I had had a few drinks 2 days before, and my doctor said, you don't have a few drinks a few days before and go get your sugar taken.
Right.
No, no, no.
Well, you know, if it's a few days before, it shouldn't really matter. But if it's the night before, then it's going to create an issue. But you should do fasting blood sugar and insulin, and it does play a role. And people who have elevated blood sugar and insulin, who are pre-diabetic or what we call insulin resistant, so you're not a diabetic yet, but you're in that category, are much higher risk of having things like inflammation in the brain and memory decline.
Really?
In Vancouver here, where we live, we have high amounts of mercury in the air. So we think about mercury in fish, but mercury vapor is also a contributing factor. So, you know, unfortunately, we tell people to eat fish because it's so healthy, but people should really get their mercury levels tested. It's a simple blood test, and find out where your mercury's at, because it does play a role. Any of those toxins like mercury contribute to memory decline.
Okay, so cut down on the white sugar, on any sugar.
On any sugar, just cut down on sugar. There was a new study that showed that the less calories you eat, the less chance you have of developing things like Alzheimer's. So calorie restriction, amazingly enough, plays a role. Making sure that you're not stressed, and that's probably the biggest one, because when you're under stress, your immune system sends out many immune factors that then cause inflammation in the body and the brain, and that chronic stress is a big problem. High blood pressure is also related to memory decline as well. So if you've got high blood pressure, and the beauty of it all is that we can...
When you stop at the high blood pressure, if you have high blood pressure, what are the numbers for you? Do you have numbers?
Well,
They're
if we
all
look at
different.
anyone who's over 140 is in a very serious situation.
Okay, so if you're over 140...
Oh, yeah, that's serious.
If you take medication for your high blood pressure...
Right.
Is that okay?
Well, it's
as
a Band-Aid.
Far as relating to a dementia. I know it's a Band-Aid, but
oh, yes.
if it's in your family and you,
right.
because many people as they age just have high blood pressure, it's a gift from your parents or something.
Well, it's actually related to magnesium deficiency.
Oh, okay.
And most of us, 82% of Canadians, are magnesium deficient. It's not found so much in our water anymore. It's taken out of all our grains And so as a result, most of us are magnesium deficient. And before all the fancy cardiovascular drugs, we used to use magnesium to control high blood pressure. And it's a beautiful treatment. It has no side effects. You know, in men, they don't like high blood pressure medication because it causes impotence.
Yes.
So, you know, switch to things like magnesium. And the other beautiful thing
is magnesium in a food that we can eat? I know there's some magnesium, trace magnesium.
Yeah.
Or should you take a supplement?
There is,
What?
but you need a supplement because they've also done research showing that magnesium, one particular type, it's called magnesium glycinate, is able to cross the blood-brain barrier, and it controls inflammation in the brain. So you get to normalize your high blood pressure, protect your heart because magnesium's a heart mineral, and you get to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's and memory decline all in one fell swoop. So for someone who's 40 or above, it should be part of your daily routine. But it has to be this one type called magnesium glycinate. The other magnesiums are basically laxatives. But this particular magnesium is fantastic for the brain.
So can you buy this like in a pill form, in a multi-vite, in
really good
mixed with calcium, what?
Really good multivitamins will have that form of magnesium. It's a little bit more money. You can get it in a powder to put in a drink. You can get it in capsules. And I think everyone should take it every day. It, you know, relaxes muscles on top of it, gets rid of muscle pain, it protects your heart. If you've got irregular heartbeat, it works for that too. But the key is to keeping and controlling inflammation in the brain.
But lining up the pills some days, you think, and not pills, but the vitamins and the potions and all of that, you have to be a chemist.
Well, if we took better care of ourselves when we were younger, then we wouldn't have so much damage and decline when we get older. But of course, trying to tell a 25-year-old that, you know, if you did all these great things now, you wouldn't be taking so many supplements when you're 50 and above. But
did you read Kate Raham's Blue's book, The Calcium Paradox and Vitamin K2?
Oh, yes. And
it's the new hot, I don't mean that it's never been a vitamin, but vitamin K2.
Vitamin K2,
at the top of the charts
MK7.
now.
So it has to be the right kind of vitamin K2, which is an MK7 form. That is a fantastic nutrient. It is the key to bone loss. And you know, you and I have spoken about osteoporosis in the past, and I'm not a calcium fan because the oncologists are complaining they're finding all this calcium in women's breasts in the form of calcium deposits. The cardiologists are complaining that we're finding all this calcium in women's arteries. And then the bone guys are saying take more calcium. So nobody's talking to each other.
Right.
And when we look at bone health and heart health and brain health, you know, when we talk about the cardiovascular system, you want to have blood flow to that brain. Because as soon as you have declined blood flow to the brain, you start to have memory decline. You start to have all of these problems occur.
Dr. Max Sinatter has talked about that a lot. The brain needs oxygen and it needs blood and circulation and all of that. Well, she told me, Dr. Kate, that in the olden days, and grain-fed beef is still around, we got vitamin K more in our food, but we don't now. So if you don't take K, then the calcium isn't quite clear where to go in your body. So rather than going into your bones in the right places, it goes into your arteries.
And your breasts.
True, and your breasts.
Absolutely true. It is absolutely a fact. And there are great supplements in the health food store that have vitamin K2, MK7, and vitamin D3 in them. And, you know, so that you can make sure you can protect your heart and your bones at the same time.
Okay, because
without
vitamin
loading
D, important.
Yes, very important. Great for memory too. And, you know, this is where put a program together that you can actually follow, because you know people get overwhelmed by this pile of pills and then they just stop taking them.
Exactly. One colossal pill would be fine, except we couldn't swallow it.
Right. Or things that you can put in a shake in the morning or into a drink or into your water bottle, things that make life really simple. And when it comes to memory decline, you know, eating blueberries, eating curried foods, lots and lots of curcumin. You know, Alzheimer's is unheard of in India.
Really?
Unheard of.
Because of the spice?
Because they eat spices like turmeric, which has lots of curcumin, which is able to stop inflammation in the brain. And they're actually doing studies right now using other anti-inflammatories. Curcumin is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatories, but they're doing studies using curcumin and using other drug-type anti-inflammatories to see how it works on slowing the progression of Alzheimer's disease.
And what a pleasant way to do that. Go straight to Vidge's or to a curry house or to an
it's fantastic.
Indian restaurant and just enjoy yourself.
Exactly. So the more of that you eat and the more vegetables you eat and the more magnesium you consume, fish oils are also very, very good for controlling inflammation in the brain as well.
Fish oil, salmon oil, what kind of oil? What kind of fish?
You know, when we look at fish oils, they're all pretty much the same. So they process them all pretty much the same, and you want to find one that you actually are able to take. If you're getting burp back from taking your fish oil supplements, then make sure you take them in the middle of dinner. We have great liquid oils now, like Ascenta, that you can take that are very, very nice, that have virtually no flavor.
Does borage oil have the
Yes.
right ingredients?
Borage
because
oil
I take
is-
your borage oil, but I don't
Yes.
take fish oils.
Right. Well, same with me. I take lots and lots of borage oil, and that's for beautiful skin. It also has been just researched lately for weight loss, and it works fantastic for controlling inflammation in the body.
Essential fatty acids.
Yes,
So
they're
to
key too.
control inflammation, eat less, mostly fruits and vegetables.
Right.
This sounds tiresome because we say it
I know.
every time, but eat less, mostly fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Take the white out of your diet. Don't imbibe too
Yes.
much.
Alcohol.
Because lots of sugar and alcohol.
It's pure sugar. In your body, alcohol is pure sugar. You know, people always say to me, but Lorna, it's only 125 calories for that glass of wine. And I go, yes, but what it does to your blood sugar, insulin, and your brain cells and your liver cells is not positive.
Darn.
I know, so we have to take lots of curcumin and lots of magnesium glycinate so that we can have that occasional glass of wine
Of
and
course.
still feel good, right? Yeah.
And yet there are people, as you know, who have been drinkers all their life and they die 96 and they have their brains. I don't understand it.
Well, they're happy and
They're
they eat,
smart.
and they're generally not overweight. They stay in a proper weight, which is key, and they're happy. So, you know, having purpose in your life is really important. Doing things like playing cards and Scrabble, and if you've got an iPhone, play Words with Friends continually, because you want to use that brain. And when people retire,
Yes.
what happens is they plunk themselves in front of the TV and watch CNN all day, which is the absolute worst thing you can do for your brain. You need constant human interaction in some form to
Right.
keep your brain functioning and doing well
Yes,
long
Dr.
term.
Max Sinatter, who you know who runs the Brain
Yes.
Research Lab, he's always said, do something new, whatever it is.
Right.
Take up math, learn a foreign language.
Yes, especially when you're over 50. Because, you know, they used to think your brain could not rebuild itself, but now we're learning that the brain has fantastic capacity to regenerate and to
Okay.
create new neural networks.
So when you're just having a cloudy day,
Yes.
just a cloudy day, what do you take? Is there something you drink or take or eat to
Well,
just
I'm a total fan
smarten you up?
of, you know, I have lots of grandchildren, so that
Right,
helps, right?
that helps.
But, you know, when I look at my nutritional program, because I don't like to swallow a lot of pills either.
Right.
So I look for multivitamins with minerals that are in powder or liquid or gummy bear form, something easy to take so you don't get bored of taking it.
Right.
I always have magnesium glycinate every day in my water bottle. Actually, in our office, everyone puts
Really,
a scoop
in your water bottle?
In my water
Does it
bottle.
taste?
Tastes like lemon lime. Fantastic.
Okay, off I go.
Yeah.
To get some of that.
Yeah.
You're lecturing at the Wellness Show on Feb 18.
Yes, this weekend.
That's this weekend, Saturday, 3 p.m., Feb 23rd, Choices Market in Burnaby.
All about hormones.
All about hormones. Okay, healthyimmunity.com is the site.
It is.
Nice to see you again.
Always good.
Lucky I remembered to say that. Lorna Vanderhaeghe. And remember, you can catch all of our conversations on YouTube or follow us on Twitter at Fanny Studio 4.